Japanese anime. Who's a fan? I heard some cheers. Yes. I like it. You were my people. Guys, come in. Sailor Moon is a Japanese anime that was super popular in the 90s. And what I loved about this show is that it was about these 5 teenage girls, and one day they meet a talking cat, and the cat tells them that they are in fact reincarnated royalty from outer space. Because why not? And the cat gives them all magic powers, and they get to be superheroes, and they get to run around saving the world. And when I realized this was a show about girls who were my age, who got to have these cool powers and, save the world and fight monsters, I thought this was really, really awesome. On top of that, there was a fantastic romance in this show. Who was the guy? Tuxedo Mask. Yes, there was so much swooning. So Tuxedo Mask, obviously the love interest, and what I loved about these two characters and their romance story was that when they were superheroes, they loved each other. They were always swooning over each other. He was always quoting poetry at her. It was very romantic. But they did not know each other's secret identities. So when they were normal high school students, they hated each other. They fought all the time. He was always calling her names. She was always throwing shoes at his head. It was the best. So I completely fell in love with these two characters, and I got inspired and I started writing stories about them, which is called fan fiction. Teenagers always know the answer to this. Adults are always like, what's fan fiction? Fan fiction is when you take an existing story. It could be Sailor Moon, it could be Star Trek, it could be My Little Pony. Very big fandom, believe it or not. And you take that world and those characters and you write your own stories about it. Well, I started doing this, and when I started, I did not know that this was a thing. I thought I was the only person doing this. And then I discovered I was not. In fact, there were entire archives online where other fans were writing and sharing their work, and then I could do that too. Well, this was really, really big for me, because even though I knew that I wanted to be a writer, up until this point, everything I had ever written was relegated to my little spiral notebooks, and I did not want to share it with anybody. I was very closed and secretive about it. But when I discovered this very supportive online community, and that I could post my stories and get feedback, well, the more I posted and the more feedback I got, the more I wanted to keep doing it. So it was very much this door opening up. So that goes on for a couple of years, until one day I get an email from a girl who had read some of my stories, and she said, hey, you're really good at this. You should write a novel. And I thought, that's genius.